Hello friends, today we are going to see one assignment from our laboratory practice 2 subject. The name of the assignment is the study assignment on a black box testing. So let's start with the black box testing. So black box testing, it is a process of giving an input to the system and checking the output of a system without bothering about how the system is going to generate the output. So just look at this diagram. So this diagram is going to have three parts, that is the input, black box and the output. So input is that the tester is going to provide as an input to the particular system, and black box, it is of black color because the particular tester doesn't bother about how the particular system is going to generate the output based upon the given set of the input. So when tester performs the testing, it only going to get tested on the functional part of the application to make sure that the behavior of the system is going to give the output as expected. So we are going to see in detail what is black box testing is. So black box is the approach of the testing where the program is going to be considered as a black box. So that's why the tester is not going to bother mainly about how the particular internal processes are going to be get performed. So this testing is solely based upon the analysis of the requirement. So the requirement kind of thing like the specifications what we have received and the set of the SRS, the user documents what we are going to have. So based upon that, the tester is going to start writing the test cases of that particular set of the requirements. So black box testing, it is also called as the functional testing, data driven testing, behavior testing, IO driven testing. So these are the different names that we are going to refer as a black box testing. So black box testing, the test cases are going to be get totally based upon the specifications. So whatever the specifications we are going to have from our SRS, the tester is going to write the test cases to specify those set of the requirements. So black box testing is going to be get applied or going to be get conducted for all the levels like the unit testing, integration, system testing and the acceptance testing. So all the levels we are going to apply the black box testing. So testers can create the test scenarios totally based upon the software requirements and the specifications. So tester passes the input data to make sure that whether the actual output matches with the expected output or not. Now we are going to see what are the different advantages of the black box testing. So the advantages of the black box testing is that it is the effective on the large unit of the code. So when the program is size is large, then it is an effective method that we should go for the black box testing. Second advantage is that no knowledge of the implementation is required for the tester. So as the name suggests, it is a black box testing, so no need to understand the internal structure of the particular program. The next advantage is that the testers and the developers are the independent of the each other, as the development part, the internal structure of the program is not necessary that the tester should understand these things, so they are independently work with each other. The next advantage is that the tests that are going to be get designed by the tester, all testers are going to be get designed from the user's point of view, and the test cases are going to be get designed as soon as the specifications are going to be completed. So when the when the software development life cycle, the first phase is the requirement analysis. So once the requirements are going to be get finalized, then immediately the tester team is simultaneously going to start designing the test cases of the particular program. So basically the black box testing techniques, now we are going to see the disadvantages of the black box testing. So the disadvantages of the black box testing is that only small number of the inputs are going to be get tested. So though we are going to have the large input data set, but it is not possible every time to test each and every possible inputs. So only selected inputs are going to be get tested with the black box technique. Second thing is that the clear understanding of the requirement is needed. So when because the tester is going to refer the requirement specification documents to write the test cases, so if any requirement is not going to be cleared with the particular tester, so it is very difficult for the tester to write the test cases based upon that particular things. Next thing is that the testing may affect may not be directed towards the specific segments of the code, as it is the black box testing. So it is not possible that the particular testing is going to be get directed towards the internal part of the particular code. Now we are going to see the test case design techniques. So in black box testing techniques, we uses the different methods like the equivalence partitioning, boundary value analysis, error guessing. So these techniques are widely used as a best practice in the industries. So these are used to pick the test cases in the systematic manner. By using these techniques, we could save the lot of time in testing and get the good test coverages. Now we are going to see one by one what is meant by the test case design techniques. So let's start with the equivalence partitioning. So equivalence partitioning, it is also known as the equivalence class partitioning or the testing. So it is the process of dividing the input domain into the different classes. So classes are the valid and the invalid, and for the valid input class we are going to make the equal partitioning so that it will reduce the test cases. So we can also call it as it is a technique used to reduce the number of the test cases to the manageable level and while still maintaining the reasonable test coverage. So as input is going to be get divided into the group, so selecting one input from each group and to design the test case, it is the main motive of the equivalence partitioning. So equivalence partitioning also help us to reduce the total number of the test cases from infinite to finite, and the selected test cases from group ensures that the coverage of all the possible scenarios are going to be get covered with. So equivalence partitioning is going to be applicable to the all the levels of testing like unit, integration, system kind of things. Now let's take an example how the equivalence partitioning is actually working. So consider that we have the test field for the age, so which going to range from the 18 to 56, that we are going to enter the values range from the 18 to 56. This particular age field is going to accept the inputs. So here we make the partitioning as the valid and the invalid. So we put the valid input range in the valid field as 18 to 56. So in the invalid field we put values less than equal to the 17, that is first range of the invalid, and the second is what, greater than and equal to the 57. So these are the two invalid range we are going to have. So valid test cases are going to be get picked any test data from the range of 18 to 56, which will help us to test all the positive testings of the particular input, and invalid test cases are going to be get picked any test data from less than 17, less than equal to 17, or greater than equal to the 57. So which will help us to do the negative testing. So by this we are going to reduce the total number of the test cases, and we are going to ensure that all the coverage of all the possible scenarios we are going to test with. Now the second technique we are going to see. So before that we are going to see just the advantages. What are the advantages of equivalence partitioning? So first advantage is that it reduces the size of the input domain. So as we have seen in our example, so the acceptable input domain starts from the 18 to 57. So every time we need to write the test cases going to have the input of 18 to 57. So instead of, we have reduced the size of that particular input domain. Second advantage is that it is well suited for the data processing applications, and the third advantage is that it is easily applied to the applications where the input domain is simple. Now we are going to see the disadvantage. The disadvantage of the equivalence partitioning method is that it is going to be get fail when or it ignores the value at the boundary level. So when we are going to put the input which is belongs to the boundary value, then equivalence partitioning is not going to work effectively. Now we are going to see the another technique, that is the boundary value analysis. So just let's start with this boundary value analysis. So it is based upon the testing the boundary values of a valid and the invalid partitioning. So the behavior at the edge of the each equivalence partitioning is more likely to be incorrect than the behavior within the partitioning. So we have seen this disadvantage of the equivalence partitioning, so that this advantage is going to be get recovered with the boundary value analysis. So test data should be selected to meet any boundary condition which is the specification to place on the output. So the boundary is a place where the system's expected behavior is going to get changed with. So every partitioning has its maximum and the minimum values, and these maximum and minimum values are the boundary values of the particular position or the partition. So test cases are going to be get designed to cover the both the valid and the invalid partitioning. So it is also applicable to the all the levels of the testing, like unit, integration and system. Now we are going to see the example of the BVA. So here also we are going to take the same example that we have taken for the equivalence partitioning. So let's assume that we are going to have the field of the test field of the age that is going to accept the input from same 18 to 56. So here the minimum boundary value is the 18 of the accepted input and the maximum value for the input is the 56. So the valid input is going to be get range from 18, 19 and 55, 56. So here we have put it into the valid field, that is the minimum is 18 plus 1 of that minimum is the 19, maximum we are going to have is the 56 and the less 1 of that maximum is the 55. So that's why we have identified the 4 inputs, that is 18, 19, 55 and 56. Now invalid inputs are the 17 and the 57. So now for this boundary value analysis we have again reduced the size of the total number of the test cases and we are going to write down the test cases based upon this given set of the input. So now the third technique we are going to see is the test design technique is the error guessing. So error guessing is what? Error guessing is one of the testing technique mainly used to find out the bugs in the software application which is based upon the tester's prior experience. If particular tester is the working as a senior in that particular organization and he is continuously working on a banking sector, so he is going to use his prior experience working on the banking domain and he is going to use that particular experience to test the particular software. So in error guessing we do not follow any specific rule. So like we have seen in equivalence partitioning or boundary value analysis, we are going to follow one technique to write the test cases, but in case of the error guessings we do not follow any specific rules to give input to or write the test cases on the equivalence technique. So for performing equivalence error guessing we need to follow some guidelines. So the guidelines are what, just we are going to look one by one. So first guideline is that the test should be used is the previous experience of the testing is similar application. If we are, a particular person is going to be working in the same domain with his previous experience, then he is the one who is going to use that particular previous experience to testing the same kind of applications. The second guideline is what, the understanding of the system is going to be used to test the particular software. If the requirements are bit clear with that particular tester, he is going to use that understanding and he is going to start testing that particular product with the error guessing techniques. The another guideline is that the knowledge of the typical implementation of the errors is the another thing that he is going to apply for the error guessing. Another thing is that he knows because he is working on the same domain previously, that's why he is going to use the whatever the problems or whatever the troubles he is going to face in a specified area, so he is going to use that previous experience to test the particular area. And he is also going to use some historical data and the test results of the previous experience. He is going to use those things for the testing by using the error guessing. So the examples of the error guessing is that just like we are going to have one form that we are going to submit that particular form without entering any values. So this is one we are going to perform the examples of the error guessing. The another example of error guessing is that entering the invalid values such as entering the alphabets in the numerical field. So this is how we are going to execute the error guessing techniques while doing the test case design. Thank you. We will see how to write a test cases using the black box testing techniques. Let's take an example of an organization who wants to hire the employees as per the given prerequisite. So the first prerequisite is the age of the candidate is less than 16 years, then don't hire that candidate. If age of the candidate is in between 17 years to 28 years, then hire that candidate on the part-time basis. So that candidate is eligible to get job for the part-time basis. If the age of that particular candidate is 29 to 55 years, then that candidate can be considered for the full-time employment. And if the age of the candidate is greater than 56 years, then don't hire such candidate. Now we will see how to write the test cases for this. So here I am going to have the test case template. So in this test case template I am going to write test case ID. So my test case ID is test case 01. So I'm going to write the test case name for the age. So I'm writing test case for age. For age field we are going to write the test cases. So here I am writing test case for my test case name is age 1. So the precondition of my test case is that the company job portal is open to fill open to apply for job. So job portal should be open for the candidate to apply for that particular job. So the step that particular candidate is going to perform is to open job portal, then he is going to fill all mandatory fields. Third, enter age. Now here the candidate is going to enter their age. So these are the different steps that particular candidate has to perform. So while entering the age, if candidate is going to put the input value as 14, so as per the company norms, if age of that particular candidate is less than 16 years, then company will not consider that particular application of that particular candidate for the hiring process. So what is my expected result on the given prerequisite? That the candidate application is not going to be get shortlisted for hiring process. So I am writing here, don't hire that candidate. Okay, so this is my first test case I have written. Okay, same I am going to write the another test case. Okay, here I am going to write the another test case. I am again going to use the test case name 01, same precondition. Now I am just going to change the input value. So my input value now it is 57. So same expected result that I am expecting, that is it is not going to be get higher, sorry, it is 59. So I am expecting the same thing. If his age is greater than 56, then don't hire such candidate. So these two cases we have written are for the equivalence partitioning, because we have divided this input domain. This is what, this is our input domain. So in this input domain, what the things that system is going to get higher, so the valid input domain is my, if the age of the particular candidate is between from 17 to 55, then this is my valid domain. Okay, because if the particular candidate is belongs to this age group, then his application is going to be get considered for that particular job position. But if he's less than 17 years, so this is my invalid partitioning. Again, this is also my invalid partitioning. So what I'm going to get in my expected result, that don't hire such candidate, because their input values or the input we are going to provide to the particular system is from the invalid domain. So once we execute this particular test case, then we are going to get result that the particular candidate is not fit for that particular job position. So in particular actual result, we are again going to get that don't hire message, that don't hire that particular candidate, or candidate is not eligible for this particular hiring position. And here we are going to write the status after executing the particular test case. that is test case is passed. So this here we have written the test case for the equivalence partitioning. Now we are going to see to write the test case for the boundary value analysis. So for boundary value analysis, we have to check the input domain with invalid, that is less 1, minus 1 of the particular input range and the greater 1, and we have to write the test cases for this valid thing, that is from we are going to start from 17, 18 up to 55, 56 like things. So here we are going to write the test case, but here I am going to change my input domain. Here I am going to enter the value of that particular boundary. So minimum range of my particular valid boundary is 17. Now I am going to give minus 1 of the lower boundary. Here I am going to put the value as 16. Again I am going to get the message that don't hire that particular candidate. That is my expected result, because he is not belongs to that particular category to get hired with the part-time or the full-time employment. Once we execute this particular test case, again we are going to get the same message, this particular candidate is not going to get selected for the particular job selection, and again that I am going to mark my particular test case as a pass. So this is how we are going to write the number of test cases with some positive scenarios, with some negative scenarios, by using the equivalence partitioning technique, boundary value partitioning technique, or we can write few test cases based upon the error guessing. Thank you.